3, 2, 1. I am Optimus Prime. Ha! I'm just kidding. Dr. Michael Morbius at your service.
This is going to be our second review of Pixar's Turning Red, if that wasn't already obvious.
Yeah, from the quote I just said. Yeah, we're reviewing Turning Red again. This is Pixar's newest animated film.
Pixar's
Starring
magnum opus. It stars Jared Leto, Matt Smith, the pencil Matt Smith, Tyrese Gibson in both films. Fuck. Oh, I guess we have to actually start talking about this movie now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Baycast, the podcast where we talk about all things Michael Bay. I'm your host, Jacob.
I'm the other host, Michael.
The Transformers fanatic, Michael. And we're here to talk
fanatic. I don't know about fanatic. Recovering addict, perhaps?
Yeah. We're talking about Transformers Dark of the Moon today. This is the final movie in the Sam Wiki trilogy, or otherwise known as the Sam Wickwillogy. I thought that in my mind, and I couldn't say it.
Wow, that's the first time anyone's ever said or thought that. But I'm glad it's been thought, and I'm glad you've said it in my presence.
Yeah. So I believe this film was made as a response to like the overwhelming critical pan of the last movie, where considering that one didn't have a script. But Michael Bay was like, "All right, guys, I'm making this one good. This one's gonna be good. Don't you worry about it." And it was something. What do you think about this one, Michael?
I don't know if it's a minority or a majority thing, but of these fucking atrocious movies, this one's my favorite for all of the semi-ironic reasons that I even tolerate these movies in the first place, which is it is a stupid fucking cartoon movie.
Yeah, it is. It is really stupid. Although, when comparing it to the last movie, that movie has some really stupid moments. This one is a little more tame. Movie,
this might be controversial. I think some of this movie is intentionally dumb. I think most of this movie is intentionally dumb.
Yeah, it is.
It literally, like I was saying with the second movie, how they just pick and choose random stuff from the original series. The entire plot of this movie is fucking ripped from the original show. Part of the original show. Is that
a good thing or a bad thing?
That's up to you to decide. I appreciate it more because at least it's in tune with its similarly idiotic beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the plot of the movie, the super simple version of the plot of the movie, the Decepticons are trying to, they created the plot of the movie, you start laughing, exactly. The plot of the movie is the Decepticons made a deal with the once leader of the Autobots to bring their planet to Earth, ahead of Earth, next to Earth, so they could enslave humanity and be prosperous again.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's the most basic I can make it. There's a lot of conspiracy, a lot of space race. I mean, the entire first 10 minutes of the movie are completely...
They're insane. Oh my god.
It's literally just Michael Bay... You know what I would say? The first few minutes of the movie are Michael Bay making a trailer for a space race movie.
Yeah, but also it's so stupid. Oh my god. So the first 10 minutes of this movie is basically just the whole reason. So it rewrites history in a way so that the whole reason for the space race is not because the U.S. and Russia wanted to compete for the technology-wise to see which one was better. No. It was because they found an alien ship on the moon. For somehow they realized, I guess from a telescope, or I don't fucking know.
No. They actually did say in the random Russian club scene that Soviet satellites caught wind of it.
Right. So we have CGI JFK, which you graciously put as your profile picture. Thank you very much.
Possibly the worst visual effect in any of these movies, and one of the worst visual effects in a movie this high a budget I've ever seen.
Just on a quick side note here, I would say generally, the CGI most of these movies is fairly decent, for giant metal robots hitting each other. When they do CGI with humans, with JFK, and also with I think Sam and a couple other humans.
There's one point with Sam. You did notice
they're really bad. It's really bad and really noticeable.
Astonishingly, like JFK. It's weird because
how they made it look so bad? Because like look at Forrest Gump in 1994. They included him like nearly perfectly into that movie. CGI JFK. Well, 2011. Look, this is what we have.
I have some comments and a possible, not solution, but a possible explanation. Analysis. It somehow looks, even though it's only on the screen for maybe 15 seconds, it looks worse than the CGI in Tron Legacy, which is really fucking impressive.
100%.
But there are two other presidents in this movie who they portray using, I would say, tasteful and like kind of, not saying clever means. They have a fake Obama. They just have a stand-in. They just don't show his face.
Yeah, but like that one picture with like really poorly photoshopped with Obama and Sam.
That was shitty, but like I it helps maintain, as I said in Spider-Man 3, it helps maintain the illusion.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And it has and I think it's an actor that usually like plays Nixon in like certain movies, like these sorts of not Nixon-oriented history-based movies. But then they had to hit the real Nixon footage on a TV in front of them. So once again, it kind of helped maintain the idea that it doesn't look like him really, but yeah, you can put that. And then you see JFK, and he's shown from afar blurrily. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good. And then the camera filter is taken off, and you see real people, and then you see the least real person ever.
It's so bad.
Like fucking like Dwayne Johnson, the Mummy level bad. Like I'm dead serious.
No, yeah, it is legitimately that bad.
Jacob, can they see my profile picture?
Yeah.
Look at that. What do I even say? I changed it for this.
Yeah.
From the stupid little Venom smiley face. Just because I just wanted to make a message about how shitty it is. No, oh God, we're not even 10 minutes into this fucking 2 hours.
So I guess the U.S. caught wind of that there was an alien spaceship that landed on the moon. So that's the reason why they had the space race in the first place, compete to see which ones could get it the first. And when they eventually do get to the moon, they have like that the famous we lost the Apollo 11 lost communication with Houston for like 20 minutes or whatever. So they retconned it, and so that they purposely did that so that they could explore the alien spaceship, which turned out to be a Decepticon ship or something. And
technically, it was an Autobot ship, but it was full of traitorous assholes.
Yeah. So they find a Decepticon there or something, and then what they do? They bring like part of it back or something.
You're getting way ahead. They just see the place. They see the ship, and they're like, "Oh shit, guys, we're not alone."
I watched this movie the
movie begins.
I finished watching this movie less than an hour ago, and I'm already losing details.
Well, because it was so early in the movie and such a almost. I will say, besides the editing in the part where they land, it was shot like a real movie.
I guess.
Was surprising. Compared to the intro of 2.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? With the trail editing and the guy, you get to see his crusty fucking gums and teeth.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you get past that period of time. It actually does. Once again, this movie obviously isn't written well. I think the problem with this movie is more the dialogue than it is the script, frankly.
Yeah, the plot of this movie is way simpler, and it's way easier to understand than 2, because there actually is a plot to this movie.
It's also easier to understand than 1, because 1 tries to trick you with the secrets. I mean, the secrets of this movie you learn in the first fucking 10 minutes. It's up to the characters to develop that. That's how a movie is made.
Yeah.
We're getting past that 10 minutes. Then it cuts present day. Nest is back. One thing I really didn't understand, as in still don't, is it shows 3 Autobots in the Middle East. Of all these movies have the hyper specific fucking location tags. This just said arms factory, the Middle East.
Yeah.
Because of course they can't list anything there. But like Bumblebee and Mirage go there. It's like, okay, we're setting up maybe some stuff with the space race stuff, like a movie would. They Mirage like threatens some human men, and then it cuts to Lennox, Optimus, some random Polish guy in Chernobyl.
Yeah, that was very confusing.
There's actually an action sequence there. Why do they even have the 5 seconds in the Middle East if you were just going to have a fully, not even, it's like a half flight. Even like Chernobyl has more action as a thing, and it establishes one of the villains. I'm going to call him a villain very, very loosely, but I'm going to call him a villain because he's named like 7 times.
It technically is, I guess.
They name Shockwave more than almost any other character is named in any of these movies, which is really confusing because Shockwave has
0 lines.
He has 5 lines. Optimus, the driller bot is hungry or like is thirsty. Those are the only lines he has. It's like anywhere from 4 to 6 lines.
Great stuff there, Michael Bay.
They find the core of what we learned to be the ship that landed on the moon that you see at the beginning, and Optimus is like, oh my god, how the fuck did this get here? You people lied to us. Okay. Second movie, there's like, oh man, the Transformers, like the Autobots, are under fire from the government people for being like loose cannons, and it's just that again in this movie, but less obnoxious. I mean,
it's just like briefly mentioned this one.
Well, it's mentioned. Okay, it's that idea that like, no, these guys are loose cannons is mentioned, but the fact that there's distrust between human leaders and the Autobots is more of a theme in this movie than it is in 2. So I think they just wanted to do that in the second movie, but they didn't have a plot for it, so they just decided to write it into this movie when they could write it. Yeah. And it also helps that they instead of I don't know, Galloway, whatever the fuck his name is, they got Frances McDormand to play essentially the same character, but a little less unreasonable.
Yeah, she was. I mean, this was definitely an interesting career choice. Same with John Malkovich, who's also in the movie.
No, John Malkovich fits perfectly fine in this movie. He's used to this fucking garbage. I mean, he was in Jonah Hex the year before this.
That's true. Okay, yeah, I'll give John Malkovich a pass. But yeah, Frances McDormand, yeah. The fucking 3-time Oscar winner is in this movie.
I mean, she's like a fine enough character, and the performance isn't as painful as per se the other, like I said, the other antagonistic figures like John Voight or whoever the fuck played Galloway. Like, she's a little more understandable. She's meant to be more level-headed. I would say she fills the same role in this to like Walter Peck in Ghostbusters. You know, so she's like a naysayer of I
guess cause, so, but like eventually she like gets on Sam's side.
Yeah,
like the worst time, but we'll get into that.
At the worst time imaginable.
Can we brief? Sorry,
you go ahead. No, you go ahead. I've been blabbering on.
Can we like mention? I think this was after the space race stuff, where like reintroduced to Sam, who now like lives in this giant house. Are you talking
about the shot I'm thinking of?
Wait, which one is it?
The first shot. The first fucking shot after the space race is just the actress's house. The first shot. First second.
Yeah, that's like, the biggest cock tease of all time.
Exactly, like on the dot. Like if you thought it was like in the first movie, it was Michaela over the hood of the car, and that was like 30 minutes in. The second movie, it was maybe 20 minutes in, maybe 30. I don't fucking know what that movie. Time wasn't linear to Revenge of the Fallen. Not during watching it, not talking about it. But in this movie, it's there's a new woman, and we're objectifying her even more.
Yeah,
like
I kind of like how it's
advantage of.
Yeah, I kind of like how like they shoot her first from like the waist down, like to all of, like the people who didn't watch the trailer, not knowing that they replaced her in this Megan Fox in this movie with her name is Carly in the movie, but I have no idea who this actress is. She's been like one other movie.
I remember when that movie. Like with the news, she's a fucking model. She's not an actress.
Yeah, she's in Mad Max Fury Road. Yeah, she's a model.
I did notice she was in that. I'm like, holy shit, I know.
A much better movie, but anyway, yeah.
I think she's the one that gets run over.
Oh yeah, she might be actually. It's been a while since I watched Mad Max Fury Road though.
Yeah,
I'll have to watch
it has been a bit, but I remember it's either her or not Zoe Kravitz. Whatever. We're talking about a better movie. I'm gonna go do that if we don't talk about this. But we have this.
So yeah, say we will about Megan Fox in the last two movies, but like she's like a semi-competent actor. But Carly in this, she is like pretty fucking bad. Like
yeah.
And
she's also British because like.
Michael Bay, he's bringing some diversity into his movie by bringing a British person. Big whoop.
Well, yeah, they kicked out the Australian lady from one. They had to make up for it with another blonde lady with an accent.
Yay.
Three.
Yeah. So she met Sam because she was like a British ambassador, like visiting the White House, and
when he got his award from
Obama. The same day he got the award from Obama, and Sam like gloats about this the entire movie. I think it's really funny.
I think Sam in this movie is fucking awesome because he's so pathetic. He's
very pathetic.
So consistently pathetic. Like he is in the other movies, but we're supposed to still side with him. In this movie, the only thing that makes him in any way heroic is his will to save his out of his league girlfriend, and I fucking respect that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any like agency. His plot. All these movies start with Sam dealing with some unrelated bullshit, because that's just the trend at this point. Up until this point and ending here. But his point is, after getting through college, after saving the world, he just can't get a job because he's a fucking idiot and a loser. There's of all the stupid human stuff in this movie that we have to have the human, even though you definitely don't need to have it. I actually found it to be consistently kind of enjoyable in this. Because it's so dumb and everyone is so insane and cartoonish that it felt like a cartoon.
Yeah.
And in the kind of same way Speed Racer can be enjoyed by people.
I guess in a similar way, I view these three movies as the most absurd coming of age story of all time.
Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way to put it.
Because it goes through high school and college, then getting a job, but it's such it's like these movies are basically they start out basically just being a high school / college / comedy drama, and then at least when going from Sam's perspective, and then 40 minutes in or so, they're always he's oh I gotta help Optimus Prime and the Autobots because
I think that's why they're structured like that.
Yeah, and all of that is basically just thrown out the window. But you know what? It's funny. I'll give it that.
It is. In this movie, I think that whole arc, you're saying John Malkovich, you're oh, John Malkovich shouldn't be in this. He's just fucking ridiculous, insane character. The perfect kind of stupid role for John Malkovich in this movie. He's just the neurotic, cartoony boss. I thought he was awesome in this role. I say awesome. When I use the word awesome, I mean it in the ironic, this is fucking horse shit, but I love it way.
Like the red cup on the yellow floor thing.
Yeah, and then there was, I'm not going to say there's setup and payoff in an Edgar Wright, a good way, but then Carly shows up in the office and she has red Twizzlers on the yellow floor and he just gives them this fucking look. I'm that's funny because it's set up earlier. I'm saying that any other movie that would be that was cute that, but in this movie it's oh shit, that's a joke. And then you meet fucking. I guess we're still in the college stuff. We meet
job stuff,
college, the post college stuff. Yeah, still in that Revenge of the Fallen Mind space. You meet Deep Wang.
Oh my god, not Deep Wang.
One of the most fucking out of place, insane characters ever. Which once again, I fucking love how unbelievably stupid and out of place he is.
Yeah, King John, literally in the movie for 10 minutes tops. And
I always remembered him being in it a lot longer. I don't know why. He really doesn't last long at all.
Yeah, he's introduced, has purpose in the movie, and then fucking dies within a 10-minute time period.
Refuses to elaborate.
Yeah, he's so fucking weird. I mean, I guess in some ways he kind of he is pretty much the character that sets the plot in motion. At least from Sam's side.
Yeah, usually it's Optimus doing
Yeah.
that. But it's Deep Wang. But oh my god, Deep Wang is just a mile a minute insanity. He just like snooping around corners because he knows about Sam. He's like in the conspiracy stuff, which I'm not gonna say it would have made sense or been good, but what if it was Leo? You know? He's
Yeah.
already been introduced to have conspiracy. She's like, oh Sam, you son of a bitch, I hate you. and
Yeah, you
then
could have had the job in the same office space. Why not?
okay, I know the point of Deep Wang, which I don't really know why they did it the way they did. I mean, you can say that about a lot of things in this movie and a lot of things in these movies, but he like helped cover up records for, spoiler, the Decepticons. That's his purpose in the plot.
Yeah.
But then he finds Sam, he knows who he is, and he gives him the information that the Autobots would be able to need to uncover this bullshit and stop the Decepticons from invading, essentially. Which I will say, in the second movie, the Decepticon plot is just Decepticons doing shit at whatever point. The Fallen needs Optimus to die because reasons, and then he dies, and then he does it. In this movie, the plot is initiated by Optimus, oh, my good friend Sentinel. I'm sure he was here with good intent. Let's wake him up. And then when he fucking destroys the nest base, kills Ironhide, and fucking slaughters a bunch of soldiers, and then the Prince McDormand's like, "This is your fault." She's right this time. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Okay, to be honest, I didn't with the whole thing with Sentinel. I might be a dumbass for not realizing that he was the villain. But every single Transformer in these movies are so one dimensional and have zero purpose outside their one thing that I didn't expect him to be the main villain of the movie.
The thing about him being the villain, some fun behind the scenes, and I think an actually fun fact. Let's go in order. Fun behind the scenes. A fucking graphic novel spoiled the plot twist weeks before the movie came out.
That's funny.
So if you saw that, it would be like, oh, he's evil. But they, in a way, it's something that's so stupid in retrospect that I kind of respect it. They set up Sentinel turning evil because Wheelie, which by the way, Wheelie's back. Gotta love him.
Yeah.
An awful character. I mean, he's better than Brains. Brains is probably
he has a sidekick now.
Brains he's more like a pet. He only speaks in one-liners. But they're watching TV, and he's watching Star Trek, and he says aloud, almost to the audience, "Oh look, it's the one where Spock goes nuts. I should have seen this one."
Oh my god,
like that.
That's so
it's
stupid.
Fucking Leonard Nimoy, who is Sentinel Prime, who betrays them. That is so stupid, but I don't know. I kind of respect how stupid, how bold that is to do something so on the nose that God. No one would, but yet so dumb no one would ever figure it out.
I hate Michael Bay.
Leonard Nimoy as the character like Sentinel, I think is great casting. He was in the original movie as Galvatron, the original protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie, he just does a older, more gruff version of that voice for Sentinel. Completely different characters, but it was cool to see him kind of brought back into that voice space.
Yeah.
But
very interesting casting for sure.
But it was wasted on. In the beginning of the movie, he's like, Optimus, we're going to win the war. We need the pillars, Optimus. We need the pillars. And then he gets the pillars. He betrays the Autobots and is like, we're never going to win the war. You Autobots are so weak. We need the pillars so we can take over Earth and get Cybertron back. Whoa. 0 to 60 much?
So yeah, the purpose was that they wanted Earth's resources to rebuild Cybertron, right? So
yes.
I thought the whole point of Cybertron was that it was beyond repair, and that's why they seek refuge. Oh, it's so stupid. Isn't Cybertron really big?
You saw that the part they fucking teleported to Earth was enormous.
Yes,
it's barely a portion of it. It's a world full of characters of people that are Transformer size.
And also, wait, isn't aren't there only like at most like 100 Transformers left in existence? Like they're using like a planet where like 100 people and 6 billion slaves.
I think according to what I can understand from these movies, what I can attempt to parse, there's a shit ton of Decepticons. There's like hundreds of these, thousands, millions of these fuckers. The Autobots are just guys who rebelled. There really are like less than 50 Autobots ever, but there's just a ton of Decepticons.
Oh.
So it would be the Decepticons enslaving them.
And they didn't make that particularly clear.
It's not clear from any of the movies, but if you just watch them, you realize the Autobot crew is like anywhere from 5 to maybe 12, and the Decepticons have armies.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's more of a you have to figure it out for yourself kind of thing, which I know.
This is a Michael Bay movie. I should have to figure things out for myself. I feel like a dumbass watching this.
Nah, it's all right. Now everyone's dumb watching this. Everyone's dumber, but yeah. It's just, in classic villain, I mean, I will say, as pathetic as it is, Sentinel's probably the most coherent villain they've had. Because Megatron in the first movie is a fucking dumbass. The Fallen in the second movie is just a fucking wet fart. At least Sentinel does something kind of interesting. Like you said, he didn't see it coming because it's kind of unexpected and stupid. That's at least something. He kills Ironhide. Ironhide had more than 10 lines across these 3 movies. You can't say that about Sideswipe or
I will give it that. They did have the balls to kill like the only other Transformer other than Optimus Prime and Bumblebee that could name.
Says anything.
Yeah. So yeah, he fucking died. Also, I just want to say during that standoff, they had to like pick like the one gray character, like Autobot next to all the gray Decepticons. So I was like, wait, which one's the good guy here again?
No, not just that. They picked the black Autobot and the gray Autobot to fight off against the black and gray Decepticons. When there is a blue Autobot, a red Autobot, a yellow Autobot, and a green yellow Autobot. I just like to emphasize that. I think it was to give Ironhide a cool action thing before he gets fucking murked.
Yeah, I mean that's probably it. What do you think of? Yeah, what do you think of the action of this movie as a whole, at least in comparison to the first 2 movies?
Compared to the first, it's weird. It's on a per action scene basis because the scene in Chernobyl totally incomprehensible.
Pearl Harbor.
Stupid. Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Oh my god, I'm dumb. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about. I thought you meant to say Pearl Harbor, like the action scene from Pearl Harbor, and I thought you meant like Chernobyl, the HBO show, and not the actual Chernobyl because I forgot for a second that Chernobyl was in this movie.
And Chernobyl was caused by Russians tampering with the power source of the Ark, obviously.
Yeah.
Don't go over that in the HBO Max show, do they? Ding dongs.
Nope.
But yeah, fake fans. But the scene it's like oh, they're looking for this artifact. They're looking for whatever. They find it, and then this swirling mass of fucking tentacles just kind of flops around. Optimus Prime transforms into a robot, pulls out a sword, cuts off one of its 8 billion tentacles, and it leaves. There's barely even an action sequence.
Yeah, that wasn't particularly great.
And that's supposed to be like the intro. I mean, at least the second movie had an intro action sequence. Like things, it didn't make any sense. They weren't shown well, but things happened. I mean, then there's the whole. I thought the highway chase was really good.
It was solid. Probably one of the better action scenes in this franchise.
Well, I guess yeah. Compared to Michael Bay, who has a variable history with car chases. I thought it was one of the better sequences in these movies. Like there's kind of a car chase in the first movie, but it's over and done with in like 5 minutes. It's a whole sequence here where the Autobots are trying to escort Sentinel Prime away from the fucking Predator Decepticons because the Predator they have to just be Predator four-eyed predators with mandibles, claws, dreadlocks. They have to be fucking bleeding and visceral oil because they have to be evil, of course. Fun fact, they all have names. Double fun fact, one of them, if you couldn't even tell, is like quadrupedal. I don't really know why that is. There's 3 trucks that turn into different robots, but they're the colors are the same. You can't fucking tell which one's which.
Nope.
I just love that. But about that sequence, there's a very crusty slow-mo scene where Bumblebee transforms in midair and Sam's flying, and it looks very funny. That sequence, we've been waiting for this for quite a while. Like three movies. They reused the shot from the island we're talking about.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't notice
Honestly, if you didn't see the island, you probably wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, I will say that, like, I was surprised by how, like, unnoticeable it was, because when I saw it, I was like, wait, is that, like, the shot from the island? I had to rewatch it and be like, yeah, it was. Because it's, like, it wasn't, like, I thought, since it was, like they were, like, filmed, like 6 years apart, and, like, you know, the technology is obviously very different, like, different types of movies. I thought it would be way more noticeable, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But I also have to make some completely random cuts, like not cuts. I mean like film cuts. I just mean cuts like strange things have to happen to accommodate it. You noticed that's when the red guy Mirage is hooking the dog Decepticon. When he launches him onto the car that's destroyed the island, its head just falls off for no reason.
Huh.
Because I guess that spot where the pipe hit in the island had to be was really tough to work around. It looked very weird. So actually, we're keeping track with the movie because now we're at Sentinel Prime's betrayal because that's right after they get to. Oh no, we forgot about the Simmons shit. Oh my God, Simmons in this movie, fucking killing it, dude.
Yeah, definitely my favorite Simmons portrayal so far.
Absolutely. He's goofy and stupid, but he's also like helpful.
Yeah. Also, oh my God, who is that fucking guy?
Alan Tudyk.
Yeah. Was it him? Oh wait.
Yeah, Dutch is Alan Tudyk. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's like
strange, like German or Slavic bodyguard man, very unstable.
Probably
no
gay.
Reason to be in the no reason to be in the movie.
Except, well, he disarms like the shield or whatever at the end, or the bridge or whatever.
Well, okay, yeah. He has more of a reason to be in the movie than I was just saying Carly does, than most of the Autobots do. But he's just a random cartoon character. And once again, I like that. He just does stupid shit. He just goes nuts. I mean, I love Alan Tudyk, and he definitely put more effort into this 5-minute character than I'm expecting anyone else did, certainly more than President McDormand did.
Yeah.
And so they're like, Sam wants to help the Autobots because he's like, my life doesn't have a fucking purpose. I can't find a job because I am a moron. I want to go back to Sam's arc in this is finding purpose, which I mean, it's kind of supposed to be the point in 2 as well, but this movie is just 2 but better. I think
marginally. I mean, like, and I know you like it a lot better, but like I think
it's not that much better.
It's like bad, but not like aggressively bad, like Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen was.
Yeah, no, that movie is offensively terrible, and this just has the same the kind of ideas and attempts at quote unquote themes, but they're just done a little with a little more intent, I guess. That I wouldn't say better or smarter. They certainly tried to do something more. So
can we talk about the 2 best cameos of all time in this movie? I think this one happens like slightly before when Simmons was introduced. When they got Buzz Aldrin, the guy who went on the fucking moon to say that the U.S. government held them or made so that they would how do I fucking say this? It was like saying made it confidential for them to talk about the fucking Decepticons on the moon that they discovered in 1969.
As he looks up at a fucking cardboard cut of Optimus Prime's face and is like, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Optimus Prime." And one thing I did like is when he meets Buzz Aldrin, Optimus is like, "It's nice to see a fellow." Buzz says like, "Nice to see a fellow like space traveler," and Optimus is like, "Oh, the pleasure's all mine, or all yours."
Optimus Prime is a big Buzz Aldrin fan.
But that's the kind of thing that Optimus Prime is like normally known for. Is like he's a good leader, but he's also just like a chill guy. In this movie, he is ultra
He
pissed.
kills people.
I mean, in the second movie, he goes for the head, and in this movie, he just does not fucking relent. He also has another jetpack. I guess he really likes the last one.
Yeah, there's just like a jetpack out of nowhere, and I was like, he's like arrived on screen with it, and then
well, okay, there's several layers of quote unquote context for it that once again no sane person would be able to notice or care about. It's in the beginning of the movie when he's fighting Shockwave in Chernobyl. He has his trailer. You see, it turns into a really fucking weird like ring of weapons. If you notice that, also he makes the funniest noise I can ever think of. Please rewatch that clip if you have the time.
Okay.
Because he transforms. And he goes like, like I'm fucking serious. It sounds like that for no reason. And then the trailer turns into like a big wheel of weapons. That's his jetpack. And then later, I would say even more out of nowhere, the trailer is pushed aside by the same driller bot. I guess the driller just really hates his fucking trailer. And he's like, they have the trailer. I need that flight tech. Which isn't established, but he does say, I need that flight tech, and then he flies. It's close to an explanation.
Thanks, I guess, Michael Bay, for giving us somewhat an explanation. I feel like I'm a dumbass for this movie because there's like so many things that like are supposed to be obvious / I should know, but I'm just like I just don't.
They don't fucking explain it. There's like no way of. I mean, they say I need that flight tech, but it's also like, wait. First of all, you have a jetpack. You can fly. Why are you attack if you can fly? Secondly, why do you need it?
Because he's awesome.
Like, I mean, it clearly offers him an advantage, but I need that flight. Also, the Autobots have a ship.
Yeah,
and
it looked like those like giant whale things from the first Avengers movie.
No. Those are Decepticon ships. Which, by the way, this predates the Avengers.
Well, yeah. Sorry. I thought you were talking about that. Wait, which one was the Autobot ship?
The one that gets blown up.
So much shit gets blown up in this movie. I don't know.
Okay, sorry. The one where there's a huge dramatic moment and you have to quote unquote watch the Autobots get blown up in their ship.
Oh, right. Yeah, that ship. Right. Yeah.
And you see it, and Optimus Prime and Ratchet go to the moon. Optimus is like, "Oh, I'll take our ship there." What? And then later they do say, Francis McDormand helpfully says, "That's the Xanthium. The second wave of Autobots came through there." Okay. What happened to the rest of the Autobots? Like the motorcycles or the twins?
Those guys weren't in this movie. Thank Christ the twins weren't in this movie.
Okay, the further we get, the more I'm going to sprinkle in information from that from the graphic novel, because it actually has like a lot of weird changes. I would say they changed things for the worse in the script, but in the graphic novel, the twins were in the story. And they get fucking killed by Sentinel.
that would have been funny to see them killed, though.
They appear completely different, like Chevy SUVs. They're like, oh man, like, oh hey Sam, what's up? And then Sentinel Prime massacres them. it's like
the most relatable character of all time. Sentinel Prime for killing the twins.
Like they had new toys for the fucking line, and they're like, oh, it's the twins, and they have like a black, and they were like mostly black, which I know, great color diversity. Then their secondary color is their main color in two, so it's like they actually decided to make a different design for them to kill them, which is just brilliant. That's one of the more interesting changes from that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And when we get to the end, there's a really, really fucking big change, which I think would have been interesting, but no. But you need to get to the very, very end of the movie for that.
Mm-hmm.
But we're at Sentinel betrays them. Optimus. Oh, also, I've been saying the whole movie, all these movies, Optimus Prime always shows up late. At one point, they just say like, Bumblebee, Sideswipe, Mirage, escort Sentinel Prime. Optimus is 10 minutes late.
Yeah, like Optimus just like randomly. I think it was like when he was first introduced with I think this was toward the end though, when he was like first like introduced to the jetpack. He just like isn't there for like a good like 15 minutes of the movie.
He gets trapped in wires for over
because he's trapped in wires.
Minutes. Like they just keep taking him out of fucking scenes because like, oh, I guess he would just kill them or whatever. I mean, which he does in this movie. His body count in this movie is fucking impressive. We'll get to that part near the end because there is something about Optimus that I was kind of I sort of picked on it when I first saw these movies with this one. But it's actually like part of 4. Well, once again, that's near the end of the movie when the giant clusterfuck conclusion begins. There's a lot of ground to cover, but because it's a lot of time. But I actually have specific things to talk about.
Yeah.
So by the time Optimus Prime shows up late, he gets reprimanded by Frances McDormand. Is that where? No, Wang had already died by that point.
Yeah, Wang died like in like the scene he was introduced in.
We forgot to talk about Laserbeak. Oh my god. Soundwave finally lands on Earth. Oh, I forgot about the best character, Dylan Gould. How did I forget
Which
about
one was Dylan Gould?
The Man. You know him. The Man.
Oh, was he Mr. Dickovich from the Spider-Man movies?
No. Mr. Dickovich is in this movie. But no, Dylan Gould is the fucking... You don't remember the human antagonist?
Oh, right, him. I forgot that was his name. Patrick Dempsey, right?
Every time I reference him, I have to call him by his full name, Dylan Gould.
I forgot to mention the other cam... Oh, wait. First I'll mention Dylan Gould. Yeah. So, this guy, like... Well, he's like... I have to admit, it was a pretty funny twist. Well, he's just first introduced as, like... the Carly's boss, who obviously like he's an attractive rich person who obviously Sam's jealous of because he's attractive and rich.
Funniest scene in the movie probably Sam's trying to start his piece of shit car, and then Dylan is like flirting with her, not flirting with him, and he just has like a fucking tantrum.
Yeah, he's a fit.
I thought that was funny. Like that's the stupid idiot, like emotionally volatile Sam I know and love.
Yeah, there's a very very good scene later, but like anyway, with Dylan, like he starts out just like that character, and then he morphs into the where he like his twist is that it's revealed that like his father worked with like the Decepticons and I guess it passed down to him. And now he's like gonna be like one of the only human non-slaves when the Decepticons bring Cybertron back to Earth, and then he makes it so that he puts this like gross ass like centipede watch on a Decepticon watch onto Sam,
which was on Jerry Wang earlier.
Yeah. Oh yeah, same one. To get the information at the Optimus about where he's going, what he's doing,
Yeah.
But first, before we talk about that, I just want to mention the other cameo that I did mention earlier. When we're first reintroduced to Simmons, he's in an interview with Bill O'Reilly from the O'Reilly Factor, and that whole scene is really funny. Also, I just mentioned this movie is like weirdly like considering from Michael Bay, it's like it's like weirdly like left leaning in some of its ways. Because like there was like a joke like earlier in the movie where like he's like Sam is like, oh, I got a medal from Obama, and then like when during a job interview he's like, yeah, our people in our firm are mostly Republicans, so and I thought that was like a really weird like police joke, but kind of welcome. And then with Bill O'Reilly,
but welcome. That's why I like some of this movie. It's out of place and stupid, but it's a different level of stupid.
Yeah. With Bill O'Reilly, so you kind of meant to sympathize with Simmons because you already know like the shit he went through, and meanwhile you have like this like Fox News anchor who's like berating him.
He may be a narcissistic asshole, but at least he's funny, unlike Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah, that was a very funny scene. Buy his book.
Oh my god, you saying the job interview reminds me. The parts with Sam are just 90% licensed music.
There was a lot of it.
Very strange. Good. Sweet Emotion plays during the interview montage. I don't know.
There was a scene where he also like mentioned like That with the Asian guy where he's like, "Oh, you're an
Deep
Asian.
Wang.
I trust you. You're an Asian Colonel Sanders."
Oh no, yeah, no, not Deep Wang. The guy he was interviewing for. You got a trustable face. I can trust you. You're like an Asian Colonel Sanders.
That's to get your job, Sam.
And then he has the interview with John Malkovich, who has his intro is perfect. I don't say this lightly. You just see this fucking random like licensed music interview montage with all these random people, and then boom, crash zoom to John Malkovich just looking at it. Yeah, that was fucking hilarious.
And the giant hallway just zooms right into him. It's awesome.
It actually is a good reveal, because if you don't know, like, most people wouldn't have any idea of knowing that John Malkovich is in this fucking shitty movie. It's effective.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, he's here now. Like, you just kind of have to accept it.
So
I like that stupid character. He gets the F-bomb of this movie, which I think I said before, besides the first movie, there is one audible F-bomb in all of them. This movie kind of had 2 and tried to have 3. Sam mouths it when he gets his Obama medal, and Brains was definitely going to say it, but then they realized
they cut it.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny though.
He a total clusterfuck.
Motherfucker.
Also, by the way, the guy who plays Brains plays the Red Twin. So it's Tom Kenny and that guy again.
Great.
Just the twins reborn.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, those characters are definitely an improvement over the twins, but yeah, it's still really shitty.
I didn't like Wheelie in 2, but I kind of like him in this. He's just like a bro.
Yeah.
He's just
chilling. Doesn't want to get put in the kennel.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any character traits, but that makes him better than he was in 2, where all he has are bad traits.
Yeah. Can we just talk about that one? That one new. I think he's new. That one new Autobot. Who's named
like
Q, with the old guy.
Yeah.
The Albert Einstein motherfucker, who they also refer to Sentinel Prime as the Albert Einstein of.
When there's an Einstein-looking motherfucker right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
He was like a random fucking goofy ass Autobot that they didn't even introduce, and then he gets fucking killed by Megatron, I think it was.
He gets killed by Barricade!
Or Barricade, whatever.
He comes back! I was so happy to see him after all this time. It's been 4 years. And then Barricade gets his eyes blown out and his legs blown off. Normal day. He had a movie one Bumblebee day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just everything goes wrong. You execute one Albert Einstein, your leg gets blown off. Give and take. But about Q, just some other things. There were concepts for him that looked like the character that he's supposed to be, Wheeljack. But then Michael Bay's like, oh, there's an inventor Autobot. I'm going to make him look like Albert Einstein. It's literally like an interview where he's explaining some of the design philosophies, and he literally says something like, oh, he's smart. He's like the Einstein. He's the creator. He's the inventor. So I designed him after Albert Einstein. And it's like, it's so ugly. And it's like he even has the mustache. Like, they didn't need to give him the mustache.
I hate the way they deal with hair in all the Transformers and Decepticons in this franchise.
No, they get far worse after this. Yeah, Sentinel and Q and Brains all have, like, hair, kind of. Well, the thing about Brains, I don't really understand Brains. He's like a blue robot that turns into a black computer. How the fuck does that work? Where's the screen go? Did you notice he was a computer?
No.
Exactly. Exactly. You wouldn't have any way of knowing that. That's why his name is Brains. He's a computer.
Dude, this movie hurts my brain and it should not.
It hurts my brain. My head looks like fucking Skids and Mudflaps heads after trying to think too hard. It's flattened. But I guess back on the characters like Q. Oh yeah, it's just a random fun fact. The Q character, his name is Wheeljack. In the credits, he's called Q/Wheeljack. I think there might have been some kind of stupid rights issue, or maybe not. So that's why they called him Q. But the name Q, the nickname, is just a reference to fucking James Bond.
Oh yeah, so, like, I guess so.
What the fuck are you achieving by naming him Q instead of Wheeljack? Which, I mean, despite his ghastly appearance, that's the character Wheeljack. He's like a goofy inventor. That's like his thing.
No, but there's a goofy Albert Einstein inventor for Autobot.
Well, now he's Albert Einstein. Of all the fucking characters that have no character in these movies, he's probably the one they kept the most intact. And he gets killed, and he looks like that. and just to put salt in the wound, these movies, I was talking about how they made Skids and Mudflap toys. They made at least 5 different toys of the two, not each, but like total. When they weren't in the movie, they never made a Q toy that made it out of fucking Japan.
Would you have wanted a Q toy?
I don't know. I like the parts that aren't Albert Einstein. They released, super ultra nerd version moment. They released a version of that toy with the right, like, Wheeljack head in the right colors. And I wanted that. That's what he should have looked like. Because I mean, I guess he would have been a white car, and there's already enough monochrome cars. He is at least blue in this. That is a different color. Also, what happened to Jolt? I want to know what happened to Jolt. It doesn't matter, but like, they increase the number of Autobots, and yet they also diminish it for no reason.
Yeah, Jolt was the character in 2 who was like, Jolt, give me my sword or whatever. Optimus Prime.
Yeah, Jolt, electrify. Yeah. Put those engines on him. That was Jolt. He's also blue. Gone. They had a toy of Jolt in the 3rd movie as well. The 3rd movie toy line.
These movies have no consistency. Like,
oh no, these
like if we had like a set of Autobots that we were like supposed to follow throughout all these movies, that would have been fine. I mean, like, not that I like particularly loved any of the Autobots from the first movie, but if you gave them time to develop them and made them not even compelling characters, but like somewhat like at least minusculely interesting characters, then I'm like, fine. But we just keep getting new ones, and they seem to just keep getting worse.
Yeah, no. Oh my god, the Autobots in 4 are fucking horrible. Spoilers, they're entirely new. Double spoilers, they're, you know how, like, okay, in this movie, speaking of new characters, they add the Wreckers. It's the 3, like, dude bros, which, once again, of something that you'd never notice unless you fucking stare at the stupid design. They're all meant to look like sports fans.
There was a Target one, right?
One of them has a mullet and sunglasses. One of them has a beard and a beer belly. And one of them has a fucking baseball cap. I shit you not.
The one that was the Target guy, right?
Yeah, Target guy had the sunglasses, the beard, and the belly. Yeah,
it's so bad.
But about those characters, you know how they appear, and the green one's just like, oh, I'm Scottish. Oh, I hate all of you. And then the red guy's like, oh yeah, I'm British. Oh mate. You know how that's like degrading culture? That's entirely what the characters in 4 or 5 are. All of them. They're like,
stop making me look forward to these movies even less.
I have to brace you, because like in this movie and the other movies for that matter, the Autobots are completely non-characters that are just there to either be cut or get killed. But at least they don't usually offend you like the twins do. I would say the appearance of Wheeljack does. But like, it's not like when Wheeljack died, I didn't like cheer. I was like, oh, okay, that guy's dead. When Ironhide died, I wasn't excited. If any of the guys in 4 died in 4 as unceremoniously as Q, I would be excited. They just keep getting worse. The designs keep getting worse. The voice, I mean, they get a lot of good voice actors in 4. I'm not going to spoil them if you don't already know, but like,
I know that that Frank Welker replaces Hugo Weaving as Megatron. That's like all I know, though.
Frank Welker replaces Hugo Weaving as Galvatron, Jacob.
Wait, what?
We're gonna get to the Transformers 4 or 5 Galvatron Megatron cluster fucking time.
I also like how like in all these movies, or at least like 2 and 3 so far, Megatron just like miraculously just comes back. Well, this time he had like a little he had like a little scarf, like cloth thing.
Megatron's a fucking homie in this movie.
Yeah.
I would say I like him, but it's after these movies where in the first movie he's the saddest villain, second saddest villain
Like
ever.
one of the worst villains.
The second movie, he's like he's almost, even though he kills Optimus, he's like a non-factor. He plays second fiddle to the actual worst villain of all time. In this movie, he's just sad. He's tired. He's decrepit. Ultra double quadruple nerd stuff. There's this, you know how most of these games have shitty like tie-in games around this time? This movie's tie-in game is a prequel that is canon. And in that, you see Megatron breaking Shockwave out of Chernobyl.
Oh my
you
god.
See some of the Autobots meet up. But the thing about Megatron is his mission is him in this like facility where there's the bajillion Decepticons, which kind of explains why there's so fucking many of them. And he's just like, oh my god, I need to fucking get an Earth disguise. This is despicable. Like, that's kind of interesting. He's been this weird, crusty metal man, and now he has to pick an alt mode to blend in, but then he picks the most evil thing ever. That is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he could have been like a normal truck or even a tank. I know there already was a tank, but Megatron's been a tank before, like a real tank before. But no, he picks like a fucking murder truck. And I love that. I think visually, like the evolution of Megatron, he goes from like long MF to like beefy guy with tank treads, but I like when he's a truck. But it would only really make sense if he was a truck if Sentinel wasn't the villain, because then he'd be like, oh, Optimus is a truck, Megatron's a truck, there's some parallel. But Megatron's not even doing evil shit in this movie.
He's kind of just chilling around for the most part, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna rule with Sentinel," and then Carly's like, "Oh, but he's no, what did you say? You're gonna be Sentinel's bitch."
Yes, exactly. Good job, you got the line. I think exactly, and that's the one thing Carly does, which good work doing one thing. But also, the Megatron in the other movies would never listen to her. He's just like a bro in this. He says he wants to rule with Sentinel, but I think he just like, oh, my home at long last. Finally. Like, he just wants to leave. He didn't want to be on Earth. He just wanted the Allspark. Like, yeah, he's evil, but he's not even like in the top 3 evil. Like, I don't know. Laserbeak seems more malicious, and he's just a fucking assassin.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about Shockwave a little bit? Because like
Shockwave, Soundwave,
he is
which
fucking
one?
insane. Oh wait, Shockwave, I think. The one with all the tentacles and shit.
Do you mean the one that had tentacles, the one that had the pet with tentacles?
Yeah,
the gray guy or the purple guy?
The gray guy, I think.
I know they both also have Wave in their name, which is very helpful. The guy with the one eye, is it that guy?
Yes.
That's Shockwave.
Yeah, I said Shockwave, right?
You did, but I don't know if you're sure, and I don't know if I'm sure. So I'm just making.
I'm pretty sure. He is like his like design and like what he does like throughout the movie, or like his like the way he attack is like it's like him in the final battle is just like one of the biggest like CGI like fucking clusterfuck I've ever seen. Like he like puts all his tentacles and shit through the buildings, and then like it causes to fall, and then all the characters start sliding down the building, and they shoot in to go to a different story, and then like how these characters not die is beyond me. It's just like he is like one of the most insane CGI like things I've ever seen in a movie. It's insane.
This weird thing about him. Shockwave is he's the Decepticon scientist. He's very logical. He stays on Cybertron to like keep point. That's his thing. He's like the Decepticon dork, kind of. He's oh yes, sure, I'll get the space bridge ready. Which, by the way, they retcon a space bridge in the span of one movie. How the fuck do you manage that? It's one movie.
I don't know.
Jetfire is like, I'm creating a space bridge. And then this movie, they're like, oh, it was actually made by Sentinel Prime. It was great continuity. But Shockwave is normally like the brains. He's not a fucking fighter. In this movie, he just has a giant worm monster that destroys things for them, and he doesn't really speak, which it's... I mean, it's not like any character's really intact in these movies, but I just didn't understand why the fuck they chose the guy Shockwave. Besides the fact, oh, people know who he is.
Yeah.
Or who he was, I guess. Yeah. Strangely enough, the driller bot isn't something they made up for the movie. It was taken from just some fucking random, like, Marvel 90s comic. Not Marvel, like... like superheroes. Marvel, like the original comics were made by Marvel for the series.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a pet called the Dweller. In this movie, it becomes the Driller. So the Driller, I guess, is just the set piece creating nightmare. He's just like some asshole, really. But they treat him with such gravitas. It's like, oh hell, it's Shockwave. Shockwave is coming. Like, and he doesn't. The Driller does things. Shockwave doesn't do shit. Like, I don't know. Like, with how much you hear this guy's name spoken, you said you wanted to talk about him. If you have any other comments.
No, I just want to talk about how insane he was, and how like I was like I shouldn't be surprised, but like it was like I was like impressed by like how much of a like CGI like amalgamation he was. Like that like it must have taken like hundreds of hours of rendering for
I mean,
like,
the Devastator was quite a bit in the second movie, and that's way less complex than this.
Yeah.
Or at least it seems less complex. At least seems less... Okay. Devastator probably has more unique parts, because this thing is just... The Dweller is just 99% like spitting fucking rings.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much more of it that has to interact with, like, you know, fake buildings and shit. Also, fun fact about the building. There's behind the scenes footage where someone's like, this is the first time anyone's ever... this is the first time in action movies someone's created a set on such a big scale and tipped the building. No, Spider-Man 3 did that. So if you find that video, you can hear someone who's objectively wrong.
Yeah, that seems a bit yeah, like like why would like that one be like, oh yeah, this is the first one? Like I feel like that's been done. Like obviously in Spider-Man 3, but I feel like it's been done like
Inception as well.
Yeah,
kind of Inception, but it's kind of Inception, but it's more talking about the kind of Spider-Man 3 thing. Which it's just like, I don't know. We're multiple digressions. I guess we're talking about the Decepticons. I suppose we've been talking about them for the last however many minutes. So let's continue. Soundwave from the last movie he's landed on Earth. That's in the prequel game, by the way. So it's unexplained in this movie, of course. And he is actually doing like espionage shit. I will say, for one-dimensional shit villains, I like that he at least had like a purpose, kind of. He's the car that baits like Sam and Carly, which is an obvious twist, but at least it's something. I mean, I find it very funny. You meet the Decepticons, they're in Africa, right? Because reasons. I don't know how Megatron got there, considering he doesn't fucking fly because he's a truck, but you see Soundwave, and it's like, oh, Soundwave from the last movie. And he's exactly as he looks at the rest of the movie. But they edited off the Mercedes logo. That's all they did to try to trick the audience. It's literally a robot with Mercedes parts. They took off the logo. I think that's very funny. Starscream's back, and he's fits more than ever. He's slobbering all over the place.
Oh, dude, he was nasty. You see one of the shots, like the slobber got on the camera lens.
Yeah, I don't know why he can't just say it, don't spray it, kind of deal. Oh yeah, in Africa, Megatron was supposed to kill an elephant. You know, he pulls out a shotgun and he puts it away. That's what he was supposed to be, killing an elephant.
Oh,
which is they try to think that's not cool. He does it in the comic though. He pulls out his shotgun because he just. In the last movies, he's had like big old arm guns. Like that's been his thing. Now he just has a fucking shotgun, like a sawed-off shotgun. How did this fit
Maybe
together?
it's like supposed to be a reference to his to him being able to transform into a gun in the old toys.
He does. They made the one reference to that in the first movie with his putting his hands together. Now he just has a fucking gun. I don't know, man.
What's wrong with Megatron with the gun? I don't see anything wrong with it.
It's just because in almost every series ever is a gun on his arm, and they've literally. I don't think he has the gun on his arm in one of these movies. I'm not going to tell you which one. Just keep the Galvatron Megatron nightmare building the suspense, but it takes until the last 2 of 5 movies for him to even resemble what he looks like normally. Good work. It only took you that long, but Soundwave. Like there were some minor things. I mean, I've always been a fan of the character because he's just like emotionless, like reconnaissance guy. He's like people like him because he's cool. He has the voice effect. He has a bunch of little guys. Like in the last movie, he had Ravage, and then Bumblebee skinned it alive. And now in this movie, he has Laserbeak, which Bumblebee also killed. Just don't let Bumblebee. And then Bumblebee kills Soundwave. I guess he just really doesn't like him. But there was some very strange, like, of all the random garbage design decisions, I thought Soundwave was the least confusing because he's a Decepticon, but you can actually tell what he turns into, and he has like speakers.
Does
because
he?
he's like he's on the arms. He has like a bunch of like blue speakers, which is pretty stupid, but at least like sound waves, sound speakers. It's like a semi-logical evolution of the character. Not saying like this is the next stage, but I mean, in comparison to giving Optimus Prime lips or making Ironhide like a fucking manlet, it kind of makes sense, you know.
Oh, okay. Can I just mention?
No,
I had no idea if this was like this in the previous 2 movies. But I feel like Optimus Prime in this movie was like twice or maybe 3 times as big as his other Autobots.
He definitely looks larger in this movie. There's no. I mean, the scale is fucked in any given scene of any of these, but yeah, they made him look larger. And I'm talking about arbitrary design changes. Like we were talking about the twins that were going to be in the movie. Optimus Prime just has like the gorilla abs from, like most designs. It's such a minor change. I wonder why they did it in the first place.
Gotta get the accuracy.
They could have
3 movies.
They could have been, yeah, because one thing's more accurate than like a fucking like 90-foot like long Optimus with red flames. Like that's but now you give him the fucking grill. It like obviously Bumblebee. I don't think we've said this. Bumblebee changes every movie to a slightly different Camaro, which is hilarious. First movie, it was like a real car. Second movie, it was a custom version of a real car. In this movie, it's a full track rally version of a real car. He has a spoiler. He has more stripes. I don't know how to explain.
Maybe he just wanted an upgrade.
Well, he always does. That's definitely to sell more toys. But in this, he doesn't have. Maybe it's just the toy, but he doesn't. I don't think he has side windows.
No.
They made the toy so he has like the race car, like mesh, but then he has windows. Where do the windows come from? It's like,
where are the windows, Bay?
Where are the glasses? Where is the glass? There we go. Now I guess I'm just really going at the minutia because it's just especially baffling because we're at the end of this trilogy. I think we deserve to splooge a little bit with the minute bullshit.
I've had enough. I'm really glad we're getting a break this week for another brand new one.
We're getting a break from Revenge of the Fallen to talk about even more random bullshit. Sideswipe the gray man with the wheels for feet. He's the same car, same robot, but the car doesn't have a top. It's a convertible now. What does that achieve?
Sell more toys.
Yes, but like, how many more toys would you be able to sell the character having a fucking roof versus not? Like, really? Actually,
aerodynamics.
I can think of 3 on the top of my head. Never mind, bad example. And I will say the toys they made for Optimus from this movie to complement his quote unquote new design, horrible. All of them terrible. This one that has like giant legs. You know the picture of Peter Griffin with the who's like mostly legs?
Yeah.
It looks like that. I'll send it to you later. But like everyone is just slightly different, except Starscream. Good for him. He stays the same. Besides the spitting and drooling and slobbering. Though I do find it funny how from the first movie he's like a real plane. Second movie he's a plane with tattoos. And then I forgot to mention in the second movie. There's a brief moment back to that movie just for a second. You see Starscream flying around like he's doing recon, and then I think Tyrese Gibson's like that thing's got weird tattoos. That's not one of us, proving why he shouldn't have been a plane with tattoos in the first place. What does it achieve? You're a normal plane with fucking wacky black Decepticon like insignias all over the place. Why? It's like why even? But now we've taken that point to go over most of the characters besides Optimus, and I guess a little bit Sentinel and Megatron. Where were we in the story? Where were we? Right before Chicago, right?
I think. When before that,
Sentinel betrayed them.
Yeah,
Get the information. Oh yeah.
Oh.
The Autobots are Sentinel Prime makes a pact with the world to banish the Autobots forever, and they just get banished.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you meet the Wreckers, who are, like I said, the fucking like track rally like jock dudes. Which why does he have a beard? Why does he have a mullet? Like
that's where we also met where we re-met Tyrese Gibson's character, right?
Yeah. He just kind of shows up.
I thought he just wasn't in this movie until he showed up like an hour and 20 minutes into this. I was like, oh, all right.
I will say he is more of a character, not more of a character. He's more prevalent as a character in the half of the movie he gets here than the entirety of 2, most
True.
of 1. Whether that's a good thing, it's up to you. But he's definitely in it, and I guess he's supposed to be like part of the emotional core because he's like. I don't know. I don't know how to elaborate on that statement, but I think he's supposed to be. Yeah. I think he's supposed to be like like one of the emotional, like cornerstones. He's like, oh, we got to get my boys together, my old Nest friends. It's like, oh, it's like old times. It's Nest, even though Nest still exists.
Yeah.
Which
this is also
still,
this is also like roughly the part where we get like I wouldn't say like a similar scene. We get a scene like in a similar vein to the scene in Transformers 2 when like Sam trips the fuck out after like getting like the cube into him and like in the science class where he like owns Rainn Wilson in that one scene.
You got it. Character development.
Yeah, but this one like since he's like he has that like the centipede Decepticon attached to his wrist and it hurts him. He just fuck it, or like I guess he kind of controls him and he kind of just like contorts his body like around Francis McDormand. He like jumps on tables.
You've now reminded me because I totally forgot. That is probably the funniest thing in the entire movie is he's talking to Francis McDormand normally, and then the thing tries to get him to talk to her more, but instead of just like hurting him until he does it, it literally causes him to a fucking like 0.1 second flip over like a giant table.
Yeah.
It's completely implausible and it looks horrible, but it's hysterical.
Mm.
Like it's just a very, very quick, like blinking. It's almost like blink and you'll miss it. But that's why it's so great.
Mm-hmm.
Shia LaBeouf really, really went for it in this one. A lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, a lot of crying, a lot of.
I'm pretty sure like during I'm not sure if we mentioned this in the last episode, but when Shia LaBeouf like had that like event where he like watched like all of his movies in a row, like during Transformers 3, I think specifically, or 2, I think mostly 3.
I think you said it was 2. I think it was one of the scenes with the glyphs in 2.
Oh yeah, it might have been that one. And I think it was also a scene in 3.
Probably would also be fair.
Yeah, where he was just like cringing in his seat like so hard, like it was like really funny. to see like how much he like hates like these movies, or at least like hates like seeing him in these
Him
movies.
in those movies.
I mean,
I
to be
would-
fair, like if I saw myself doing this stuff, I would probably be cringing too. So sorry for repeating myself. It's just like
No, it's
these
a good
movies-
point. It's a good point to reiterate that in this movie, his character is more pathetic than ever, and he is forced to act more stupid than ever, which is once again good for my enjoyment. I like when Sam's a fucking useless piece of shit because that's what he is. But for Shia LaBeouf having to act like this fucking like pea-brained moron who can't get a job because of his like enormous ego, and they could like has to try to balance having like his Victoria's Secret girlfriend with his best buddy in the world, Bumblebee. I don't know why I did the Optimus voice there. It's a reflex at this point. But Bumblebee is barely in this movie. Like he's not even in 2 very much. But it's weird that they try to make like have a few emotional moments with him when he's barely in 2 and he's barely here. Like he has like a fake car. Oh my god, the parents are in this movie, but they're in so little that you actually can't. Actually, I will say that the parents made me laugh for the first time across all 3 of these movies.
Yeah,
because she's like, oh, Sam, you have to keep him. Like, just listen to her. It's not worth arguing.
Mhm.
Like I think the dad was actually pretty funny in his like 2 scenes in this, but
I'm glad they're in this way less than the last 2 movies.
yeah, we were saying about like why they were in the second movie. Like we were trying to postulate maybe why they could have even done that, and they're just not in this movie past the 30-minute mark, pretty much. Or maybe
They shouldn't be because
50 minutes.
Sam's not even isn't a child anymore.
Yeah, they brought him back because it's the finale to his story, which I think is fine. Because once again, I thought their scene was okay, and it like of the stupid shit in this movie, it was like some of the stupid shit I was okay with.
Mhm.
But yeah, like this Shia LaBeouf, it's a lot. He did scream a little bit in 2 with in the dorm room with the Transformer lady, but in this he just screams every 5 seconds. He really amps it up. He screams when Bumblebee saves him. He screams at some other point. He's constantly grimacing because of the watch. It just all sorts of crazy.
Yeah.
Dylan Gould. That reminds me. With the twist with Dylan Gould, he goes pretty much exactly from, oh hey Carly and I are good friends. Don't take me as any. I'm not going to take her away from you or anything like that. Don't worry, Sam. To like, Sam, the Decepticons are the victors. We have to be on the side of the victors, Sam. You're on the losing side. Like he just becomes a villain. And I love when in these movies when people just become fucking cartoony villains. Same with Sentinel. Like in the beginning, he's like, oh my god, he's so boring. And he's like, Optimus Prime, you're stupid and weak, and the pillars. Like I don't know. That's amusing to me. It's so devoid of intelligence that it becomes entertaining. I think this movie is where that, like the horrible plot inconsistencies and character assassinations are funny to me. But
yeah, it's pretty.
Things that aren't. Yeah.
It's pretty like these characters like motivation like the characters' motivation in this movie like with like Shia LaBeouf, fucking Optimus Prime, or Sentinel Prime, they're all like you get like where they're coming from, but like at the same time like they're all like just like they're all like so stupid and one dimensional that like I just like it's like so hard for you to actually care about
seriously
them.
Yeah. Like when Sentinel killed Ironhide, I'm like, oh shit, and then when he's just like giving massive when they're at the Washington Memorial and he's just giving Optimus Prime like a fucking lecture on why he's wrong. That was fun, I guess. And also Megatron sitting on the fucking
the Lincoln Memorial. He knocks fucking Lincoln off. I didn't even know like it was impressive that he was able to just like knock the Lincoln part off and just like have the chair in of itself. So I'm assuming they're constructed out of the same piece of granite. But
yeah, definitely.
It's fine.
Two
limestone,
things.
or whatever.
First, that image of him sitting on the memorial is directly from the original series, like exact remake of that of a shot from an episode, which is very weird.
Interesting.
And second,
I wonder how much Lego actually did a research into that.
I told you these movies have very specific pockets of things that are on paper exactly accurate, but in practice are like blasphemous and terrible. But another thing is, I think I mentioned it before. I always mention it when I watch this movie with anyone, or I see anyone else watch this movie. When you're seeing Cinema Memorial, there is an extremely obvious clipping of the Megatron model into the memorial. You could just see wheels going directly into it.
Great.
Which is one of the only like huge errors I was able to find. I mean, it probably happens all the time in the action scenes, but there's so much going on you can't tell. There's just one guy sitting. But then the Decepticons begin their invasion, and oh my god, Decepticons were... In this movie, the Decepticons become like close to a force because some of them actually have vehicle modes, like a Transformer might. It's like garbage trucks, fire trucks, police cars. I don't know. It's not much, but it's something. They're not all gray. They're mostly gray men, but not all of them. Like, and some of them have some random lines. Like they make like the last minute like shitty attempt to kind of like have them be a presence, and it's the last of these movies, and it's the last movie with Decepticons.
Is it?
Kind of. But the last movie with like wide scale Decepticon like this. That's what I meant to say. But it's like too little, too late. In the first movie, they had vehicle modes, but none of them had a character.
The actual transformation of the Transformers are like, it was way less prevalent in this movie than in...
It gets less and
like,
less.
definitely the first one, but even the second one to an extent. And I'm pretty sure it gets worse as it goes on.
Yeah, it doesn't just get worse, there's just much less of it. This is the point where there's one scene in 5 where there's the Optimus, and then you see a cloud of dust, and then he's a truck. Like that level of laziness.
Oh my god.
They really fucking dropped the ball. And in 4, oh my god. The thing that you haven't seen in 4 with the transformations. 4 is so bad.
Yeah.
But we're on
I literally dropped the ball after a while, didn't they?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's like a soft reboot, even though it is a sequel. It feels like a soft reboot, but it also feels like a soft reboot in the sense that it's actually so much worse that it's noticeable.
Oh, okay. Anyway, let's start going through it.
We're getting near the end. We're getting to Chicago, and we can summarize some of the stuff there. It is the entire last half of the movie in traditional Michael Bay fashion. At least there was some kind of attempt at pacing it differently, because in the final battle they go to Egypt like halfway through Revenge of the Fallen, and the final battle is like just an hour. This final battle is also an hour, but it happens in like stages. At least there's different things happening sometimes. Like it starts off with Sam and Tyrese Gibson. Epps, not Gibbs. I'm thinking of the guy from fucking Pirates of the Caribbean. God damn it. But I wish I was watching that movie. I wish I was watching those movies. They go into the city while Linkin Park plays their sad song, "The World's Smallest Violin" or whatever. And then they get after this. I'm not gonna say it's exactly like good, but the sad music montage of the city being destroyed and humans being rounded up. It's like, it's okay, I get it. It's like apocalypse stuff. I thought it was done adequately, at least. As they kind of solemnly bring together a small crew of morons to go off into oblivion. And they get there, and they immediately go, "Oh shit, we're fucked. Let's leave."
Literally immediately.
They just did down with any and all. I'm not saying there's much, but like any amount of emotional resonance that the previous scene could have had, demolished. So there's no Autobots. They have to go there. One jet comes. I love that the Decepticon jet. It turns people into fucking dust when they're not like.
Yes.
Heroes.
Oh my god. Like they get disintegrated.
I did appreciate how fucking brutal it was. They just literally, you said disintegrate people. Like, respect the Decepticons. They're just going for it.
They just went for it.
But the one of them comes and it shoots one of the military guys, and it doesn't explode him. It just causes him to fly away because, hero characters,
Mhm.
But then it gets shot down. By what? Oh, of course, the Autobots. They faked their death about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, basically immediately, basically immediately after. Was there anyone who actually in the theater who was like, "Oh my god, all the Autobots are dead. Oh, how will they solve the conflict now?"
I didn't. I was 9. I was stupid. I was an especially stupid kid. I watched these movies. Of course, I was a stupid kid. But even I'm like, oh, they're fine. And they were fine. But I think the way they reintroduced the Autobots in the context of these fucked up, insane movies is perfect. You see the Decepticon get shot down by a force off screen. It doesn't cut. It pans to the side. Optimus Prime with a shotgun, reloading a shotgun shell the size of my fucking legs. Epic music cue. Dun 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 dun. Reloads his gun. We will kill them all.
Yeah,
dun dun.
So
dun,
fucking
dun.
brutal.
It's that's how you. That's when you realize Prime's lost it. He's done. He's unhinged. And then he goes into his speech, he tries to have a little Optimus Prime speech. Today in the name of freedom, we take the battle to them. Supposed to be heroic, but he prefaced it by saying, "We will kill them all."
Yep.
It's a little tonally fucked there. And then all the Autobots show up, literally all of them, including Brains, Wheelie, all the Wreckers are back. Q, for some ungodly reason, just everyone's here, really, except for Jolt, the RC twins, the RC triplets, the twins, Ironhide's fucking disintegrated head. Everyone else is there, should I say?
Mm-hmm.
But they begin their and Jacob had a point in the second movie where he's early on. He's like, I knew it was going to be funny when they said we must not have this be televised, and it gets televised.
Yeah.
But in this movie, a very similar thing happens. But what that really got to me was Optimus at the end of his speech. Our main strength is the element of surprise. 2 minutes after that, I think Megatron just goes, "The Autobots are here."
Yep.
Yep, you really got that element of surprise.
What do they expect? It's kind of like that scene from the first movie. They're sneaking around Sam's house, but obviously really shittily. What do they expect? They're just gonna surprise the fucking Decepticons with their giant clanky metal bodies. Come the fuck on.
Rainbow colors.
Yeah. Oh, it's so dumb.
Just gray and brown, disintegrated fucking. Chicago's fucked, by the way. I just you'd imagine. What if that happened to a real city? It would never recover.
Nope.
But
Chicago's fucked.
It's just Chicago. Could have been New Jersey, but Michael Bay didn't have the wherewithal to destroy New Jersey. But they begin their assault, and it's the Decepticons. A very interesting, totally not incoherent point or incomprehensible point. Morshower shows up an hour and a half in the movie after not even being in the second movie, or he's in the second movie, but not much. And he's part of there's 2 teams. There's 3 teams. There's military team, Autobot team, and Room team. Room team is Simmons, Francis McDormand, and Dutch. Military team's Lennox and his military men. Autobot team is literally everyone else. But the board team is we can't get an eye on them. They got all our satellites. They got our eyes. And they're oh, we need to figure out how to get in. Whoever's in the city might be able to whoever's in the city could do something and allow us to have eyes in there. Pretty much. And then they say 10 minutes, maybe not even 10 minutes later, do we get a GPS in that building after Sam marks it? How do they have GPS if their satellites were disabled?
Good question.
That's what a satellite is. That's what a GPS is. It's a satellite. I mean, it's not even Soundwave's up there. Soundwave's just kind of walking around, taking trophies.
His definition of trophies just dead Autobots.
I believe so. Q, that's when Q is killed. His head falls off. Thank God. His head's so fucking ugly and shit. It's better with no head. He's much better with no head. So no head. But it's just a baffling series of events where every team does something which is supposed to make it like a multi-stage, like it's like an assault, you know? Lennox and his guy's wingsuiting, which by the way, wingsuiting scene, pretty cool. I like that. Some of that stuff they actually did practically, props. That's like a cool action sequence. You get one thumbs up from me, Bay. But like the Autobots like split up, then Shockwave shows up and he just kind of sits there and gatekeeps them from getting to the main pillar. That's the point, is getting to the main pillar. Or whatever the fuck. But once they get to the main pillar, there's a guy with the fat guy with the rocket launcher, then they come from being fat a lot, which I'm surprised there's not as much fat phobia in these movies as there is, but this movie makes up for it. For sure.
True.
With that fellow. Which, I mean, they kind of make him like the Michael Clark Duncan-esque, like lovable, like goofball. Too little, too late. Why wasn't this guy in the movie before? I mean, I'm not saying he even needed to be for like the purposes of
the whole fate
the
of the. Well, I guess like when they were talking about it, it didn't actually happen that way. But the way you're saying was like the whole fate of like the world was in his hands for getting that shot right.
Yeah, like it would be cool if this guy was there before, or maybe if that was Epps.
No.
Because if it was Epps, then it would be like, oh, he's coming out of his like pseudo retirement, and now he's got to make some big plays for the Autobots. No, just some random guy. Of course, of course. But they have to get up on a building to shoot this main pillar so they can stop Cybertron from coming down. Now, the rest of what happens is miscellaneous things. They have to go from building to building. The Dweller destroys the building. Optimus kills the Dweller. Gets stuck in fucking wires for like 10 minutes. Nah, maybe like 15. It's actually more like 15 minutes. 15 minutes. One of the main characters is just kind of stuck in wires like a dingus. The Autobots get captured, like almost all of them. Never shown, never explained. Said Barricade shows back, the fucking goat. Kills Wheeljack. Good work. Further proving his goat status. I'm just going through these points because there's not much we can really comment on. They attack Shockwave. They blow his eye out of his head, but not enough that it's gone. Enough that it's like attached, but not working. Yeah. It doesn't even show how that happens, which it was really confused the fuck out of me. And I think by the time Optimus Prime gets freed is when the movie resumes. Like things continue to happen. Because when Optimus Prime gets free, he takes his jetpack and he fucking kills like 50 Decepticons in one like line.
Yeah, pretty impressive. I think that was supposed to be like the cheer scene, you know, when he fucking slow motion.
The music is pretty hype, and then Sam says Optimus, like in the trailers. He always says Optimus. But one of my favorite things about that is every single Decepticon he killed was already killed in a previous movie. Every single one. There's a brown brawl. There's long hauls back. That's like the 5th long haul. The guy who was cut in half in the second movie. Just like, it's like if you go to that shot where there's like 20 Decepticons, you just take a freeze frame. It's like a Decepticons greatest hits album. Like like it's literally just reused fucking models out the ass in one shot for Optimus to massacre with like extreme ease. And I do, even though it makes no sense, I did like him getting his jetpack, flying to like a billion Decepticons, and then he's killing them so easily that he just starts dropping weapons and pulling out new ones. Mm-hmm. Like he has his like quintuple chain guns. He like kills a guy with that, drops it, pulls out a real gun, shoots it, drops it, pulls out one of his orange swords, stabs the guy, drops it, drops his jetpack, pulls out a fucking axe, gets the Shockwave, pulls out brass knuckles. Like he becomes like the fucking Swiss Army man for that one scene, which is kind of confusing. And then he uses Shockwave's gun as he tears his fucking face out, to destroy or to disable the last pillar, so the plot can continue.
Yeah, finally.
But yeah, really, there's a lot of meandering. The whole Autobots being taken prisoner. Oh yeah, and the Autobots being prisoner. The whole time, Brains and Wheelie take a little ship to a big ship and crash the big ship, which gives the Autobot the distraction to
that was the ship. I was like, oh well, from Avengers, right?
Yeah, they look just like him, but they do predate them technically. So that's kind of that's something interesting about that, I would say. But they crash. Bumblebee executes Soundwave. Like he just made Mortal Kombat fatalities his ass, taken out of Optimus's rule book right there. Also, just to notice that something I only knew because of the stupid game. Suddenly, in addition to having speakers, has a gun that shoots sound. And he fires it like twice. You'd think they would do something more with a gun that shoots sound. No.
Nope.
Guy's killed seconds after using it. So Optimus fights Sentinel, and Optimus is like kicking his ass. And like in the second movie, Sentinel's like, oh, I need reinforcements. Fire on Optimus. Because he's just getting his ass kicked. And he's like, I need help, guys, please. That's just what Optimus does to people. He just fucks them up so bad. They need to run for help like wimps. Yeah. And then they launch a bunch of missiles at Sentinel support. And then the entire Autobot team gangs Sentinel, and he's like beating them, which makes no sense. Right? Because he has a shield. Is that it? Is that the reason why he's winning? At this time, you said that the one thing Carly does. We haven't talked about Carly because there's nothing to her.
Literally nothing.
A fucking sex object. She's basically a sex object. Like less than Michaela. Michaela in 2 at least like kind of did stuff.
Yeah.
The one thing Carly does. By the way, Carly, being a random blonde woman, is from the original series. Why the fuck do they do that?
Oh, is she?
Why does it matter? She is the wife of the original Spike? Yeah, of Spike, the main character. Wait, no, I'm fucking stupid. She's the love interest of the season 3 main character. I don't remember if it's Daniel or Spike in that season. But their last name's Witwicky. So yes, it kind of makes sense a little bit. But like, why even reference that if she's going to be more boring than she was in a 1986 TV series? But she manages to talk Megatron into getting off his reclining chair or whatever. And he's like, Sentinel will probably try to backstab me. So Optimus is fighting Sentinel, and Sentinel kicks his ass. Sentinel fucking rips his arm off, knocks his mask off, even though he has another one for some reason. He's just absolutely ravaging Optimus in an uncharacteristic move, because Optimus is known to fucking cleave through people. And then Megatron comes to rescue. He goes for Sentinel to beat shit out of him for his own personal gain, but he does help Optimus, technically. It looks like he rips Sentinel's metaphorical balls out, which is kind of funny. That's the first thing he does, is grab right for the crotch. He kicks his, helmet off? I guess it was a helmet?
We'll go with that.
He beats him so bad, random pieces of Sentinel are just missing. You notice from when Megatron shoots him to when Megatron talks to Optimus, he's missing a shoulder. He's missing his idiot cape. He's just chunks just fall off like a fucking Lego. But then one of the more interesting points of the movie, and definitely one of the more interesting points of the original script, I'm gonna guess. Megatron turns to Optimus after saving his life. Uncharacteristic little team up there.
Yeah, that was cool, I guess.
He says but it ends with we need a truce. I want to be back in charge, but I'll be willing to settle for peace. Who would you be without me? And then Optimus just murders him. I think he was being genuine. Would you like to know why?
Why?
Because in the original ending, they have a truce and Megatron fucks off. He lives. That's how the original script ended.
But then Michael Bay was like, no, he has to fucking kill him. Even if he's just come back in the next movie.
Yeah, because he thought, because Michael Bay wanted this to be the last one he did. Like really, really wanted it to be the last one he did.
It should have been. At least this would have been like.
You hear the stories where Spielberg was like pleading for him to stop.
No.
The stories.
But I did
like,
look into that
you have
thing.
to stop making these movies. He's like, no, I'm sorry.
They make too much money.
That's probably why.
I did look into that thing that we mentioned last episode, and you were right about like the whole Megan Fox thing, where it was Spielberg that fired her, not Michael Bay, because of when she said that Michael Bay was, or she compared Michael Bay to a Nazi or something like that, the way he directed his movies.
I try to be correct with such things.
Well, you're right. I will never doubt you in anything like that ever again.
Appreciated. I do appreciate that. I'm not always right, but when it comes to this bullshit, I usually have a good track record. But I don't know, the ending of the series being that the main like the underlying villain just lives, kind of interesting. And it would lead to sequels better than 4, because 4 is like a borderline reboot. I mean, it really is.
Mm.
It takes every character in a different direction, a worse direction. But if they left Megatron alive, would he have done evil shit? Like, he just fucking left in the original story. He just, like, we need a truce. And Optimus is like, if you do this, if you break this truce, we will come for you and we will show you why we defend this planet. Whatever the fuck he said. And Megatron's like, "Aight, bro, fair enough." And then he just leaves. Like, I can't even be mad at him. Megatron is a bro in this movie, but no, he has to have his head torn out of his like fucking spinal column.
Yep. It's like if this was like an actual, like, these were actual humans, it should be like hard R, very hard R.
That's what we've been saying. This movie, the most of all of them, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, Megatron wasn't even just decapitated. Like, he has like a spine. It's like ripped out. He could just been
That's like Doomslayer shit.
Literally, he does like a Mortal Kombat or like Doomslayer execution. I get they're like supposed to be, they're not maybe not mortal enemies, but they're not really the most comfortable of friends. But I don't know, it's a bit much, Optimus. But then again, this is movie Optimus we're talking about, who will kill anyone as brutally as possible.
It's pretty vile.
Yeah, we near the end of the movie, Optimus Prime just killed like his old friend and his arch nemesis. He's only got one arm. What are you gonna do? How's he gonna applaud himself for winning? He only has one arm. Bumblebee doesn't say anything, but he's like, "Oh, I got these wedding rings for you two," because Sam and Carly like end the movie happy. Which, I mean, much as I love seeing Sam miserable and suffering like the buffoon he is, there's something a little nice about knowing for sure he's just gonna live his life like kind of happy.
Well, he's pretty sure. There's any chance that there will be a Transformers 6 where he comes back?
No. There is one reason why that I don't want to say it, but I kind of want to say it because it's such a fucking inconsequential thing. But it's I don't think okay. In Transformers 5, there is a lore room. You'll get used to this lore room. A lot of time is spent there. There's pictures of people, I'm going to say, related to the Transformers. There's a picture of Sam in this room.
Okay.
So he's just out there. Like, I don't think he's part of it anymore. He's in a picture in this room, which is used to commemorate the history of Transformers. So I think it's past tense.
All right. Yeah. I mean, we're already having like that because Bumblebee is technically a reboot too, right?
Bumblebee is actually a reboot.
Yeah.
It takes a few elements from the original 3 movies, like Megatron not being on Cybertron. You see Bumblebee, right? No, you almost.
No, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen Bumblebee.
There's one kind of returning character, but otherwise it's separate. I think it just takes some things from the first few movies. 4 is a sequel, but I'm trying to give a good example.
Are there any returning characters from 4 from 3 that are in 4.
3 to 4. Kinda. I mean, Optimus.
Well, I'm talking about like
Bumblebee.
human characters.
Human characters in 4? No.
Yeah, great.
In
No John
5,
Turturro. No.
Well, Jacob in 5.
Oh god. Okay, I'm getting too ahead of myself.
I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just dangling the idea over your head.
Yeah.
There are returning characters in 5, but not 4.
That's interesting. God. All right. So yeah, I think that's basically it. That's Transformers 3. Definitely an improvement over the last movie, but that's like comparing.
Almost anything's an improvement over the last movie.
That's like comparing a solid piece of shit to like a putrid pile of diarrhea. So
I guess so. It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. I think you have any final thoughts about it?
I guess final thoughts. I obviously have an attachment to these movies, not mostly positive at this point. I like that this movie leaned more into the kind of incomprehensible bullshit. Not that Michael Bay would normally write. I mean, there's obviously a lot of that, but it leaned more into the insanity of some of the original series, like the Generation 1 into like the anime style stuff in the early 2000s. Just weird fucking characters, weird fucking worlds, a little bit more color, a little bit more character. I'm not saying this is by any means a perfect or even good movie, but it hits the mark for what I feel like something like this should be. It's a movie about toys that turn from robots into vehicles. It's not unlike the first movie wants you to believe, not a fucking conspiracy movie. That like it's not a serious conspiracy movie. Not like the second movie. It's not like a revisionist. I mean, the third movie.
I mean, this is technically a conspiracy movie with the Apollo thing.
It's more of a conspiracy movie than the first one, but it's not like the first movie treated with such a magnitude that it attempted to be a real movie. This movie is like, yep, second scene of the movie, Buzz Aldrin finds Decepticons. Like, it's not pulling any punches, and I appreciate that more than the completely unrestrained idiocy of the first two movies and whatever the fuck 4 and 5 are doing.
Yeah, for sure.
But I like Bumblebee more than all these movies. I don't think Bumblebee's by any means a fucking, award winner or anything like that. And that gets the emotional, like, kind of human core of Transformers right. But it lacks, I hate to say it, but Bumblebee isn't sometimes stupid enough. In trying to be a movie like E.T., a movie like The Iron Giant, a quaint crowd pleaser, it's almost too safe at points. This movie is definitely too out there, but it's the kind of out there I think this series is best when it does. I mean, I know we've talked at different times about, like, are there any Transformers series that are good? Probably not objectively, but the best ones have elements of reality to ground it, but then elements of silliness to accompany the fucking ridiculous premise. And that's kind of what I think this movie tried to do. And for that, I respect it. These first 3 movies, pretty terrible, but at least they're not painful. They're not 100% painful watches like something like Pearl Harbor by Bay, or just other movies of similar critical response. I'd rather watch Transformers 3 or Transformers 1 more than Jupiter Ascending any day, even though the average person...
That's a good way to put it. Jupiter Ascending is terrible.
These are bad movies, but they're not consistently boring ones.
Yeah.
Sometimes, of course. But there's enough going on that I feel like there's a soul in there. A crusty, deranged soul.
Somewhat.
Defiled by the vision of a fucking lunatic of a series that's already made by insane people, probably. But at least it's something. As we go into the 4th and 5th movies, that personality is gone, and all of the worst elements of Bay's style come to pass in 2 absolute fucking stinkers.
Right, that's a good way to put it, because this movie, it's something.
It's definitely one of the movies.
Join us next time where we talk about a movie that's thankfully not a Transformers movie with Pain and Gain.
Not a Transformers movie, and we'll have another different guest. along. Get ready for that. Different voice here.
Yeah, this is our third guest. Yeah, third guest. Yeah, if we're really moving up in the world, third guest.
3?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Transformers 3.
No,
That was stupid.
We
No,
just finished. We
I'm
just
done.
finished Transformers
I'm done.
3, man.
I'm
glad you're done.
bye. I'm done.
I
We're
wish
leaving.
these movies were done.